KPAL News Time is coming up on 6:44. This is Acadiana's Morning News. An important discussion happening tonight at the Lafayette Parish Public Library South Side Branch, as Mr. Dennis DeBalt will be here to talk about safety issues for children and adults with autism, specifically dealing with emergency situations. It's a free presentation and is open to the general public. And joining us now, the president of the Autism Society of Acadiana, Robyn Blackwell, joining us in studio. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good
How
morning
are
to
you?
you too. I am awake.
That's
Yes.
good. That's what we say too.
I am awake, and I am so excited to be here. We're so excited to have Dennis come in for to speak with our folks tonight, and also with law enforcement tomorrow. He's going to do both sides of the issue. Safety issues for people with autism is it's a serious issue.
Yeah.
Just yesterday, as a matter of fact, in Monroe, there was a young man, 13 years old. His family reported him missing at 3 a.m.
Wow.
And they found him later in the day. But this is something that all families really to deal with. Dennis is coming in. We're going to be at the Southside Branch of the Lafayette Parish Public Library. He starts speaking at 6:30 tonight. And he's going to talk about autism-related risk and how to manage it both at home and at school. So teachers, we invite teachers to come as well, school administrators. He's going to talk about how to identify your person with autism to a law enforcement officer or a first responder, so that they understand, who they're
who that person
with.
is. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, they call it being on the spectrum.
Yes.
And the reason is, for those who may not understand that, autism doesn't fit into one box.
You've met one person with autism. You have met one person with autism.
With autism, yeah. Some kids are very, they can be very frightened by loud noises. Some kids and young people, maybe they are not very emotional, or they don't know how to express their emotions. They can become easily frustrated. I mean, it really is, you're on the spectrum, because there are so many different things that can fall under that category. And it's hard to be able to understand if you don't necessarily have someone close to you. So it's a great thing for parents to learn, hey, how do I explain to my child, and how do I get my child to understand? Maybe a medical person might be needed at some point, or a police officer, or like you mentioned, firefighter, something like that. So these are going to be strategies we can learn, whether we're teachers, friends, family members, anybody can come to this.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's open to anyone. And, it's someone in that authority position. I know for a fact, I know for one, my kid who's not such a little kid anymore.
Yeah.
I have a 19-year-old, or he will be 19. Yeah. The big mouth.
Yes.
And,
adorable.
Yes. He, if someone is trying to if he gets embarrassed or frustrated, if he thinks he's done something wrong, he will immediately go into adversarial mode.
Right.
He will start telling you no and back and putting up a front. And if he's in a position where he's dealing with a law enforcement officer, a police officer, a sheriff's deputy, or someone else, then they might take that as resisting.
Right.
And not recognize. So, we want to
very difficult.
help our families to be able to avoid those situations. And on the other side, tomorrow we are very fortunate to have we received a grant from the Junior League of Lafayette this year to bring Dennis in. And he is going to talk to police officers, sheriff's deputies. We've got some state police, we've got some FBI folks coming in as well. About working with people that they suspect may have autism, how to recognize that, how to talk with someone that they think may be on the spectrum, to keep the situation from escalating and becoming a real crisis situation.
Yep.
We've been very lucky to work with the Lafayette Parish Sheriff's Office, and particularly Deputy Donna Perkins, to be able to do this. Donna has been like a little firecracker getting this thing going. It's something that's very close to her heart too, as she also is a parent of a child with autism. And so we're very thankful to be able to bring him in. That is also still open. If there's any other law enforcement officers who are listening and want to participate, please give us a call at our office. We'll be happy to get folks signed up.
Okay, and what is the number?
235-4425.
Easy enough to do. Call, definitely get involved with that on the law enforcement side tomorrow. And then, of course, the public tonight. And, the thing of it is, you just don't know, like, what situation might come up.
Yeah.
It could be a situation where you work in a store and you encounter someone. And, maybe that person doesn't have an assistant with them. And it can be a situation where there's just a lack of communication because you just don't understand maybe the particulars of that person with autism.
There was an incident in New Iberia where a young man with autism walked into a store and he decided, he picked up picked up some candy.
Right.
And then something else caught his eye. And so he's heading out of the store with the candy. And this person, the store owner wanted to press charges.
Right.
Because he thought he was shoplifting, and it wasn't like that. He wasn't trying to steal the candy. He just forgot he had it. So this is another situation where, one of our members, who is a former police officer in that area, was brought in to help work with the family and with the business person,
so they could understand.
Yeah.
Well, and we're speaking with Robyn Blackwell, who's president of the Autism Society of Acadiana, and you hit upon something too. Talking about emergency responders, police officers, law enforcement, but also in just everyday life and how understanding and communication is so key, especially in talking with someone who is autistic, because there can be misunderstandings with the way that someone who's autistic maybe perceives the way you're telling them something. Talk about some of those ways and how to understand the communication better. Because I'll just give you an example. For instance, we were talking about a mutual family that we know, and I remember with the kid that we were talking about who eventually came and interned over here, and so proud of him so much he has grown, and he's one of the smartest young men that I've ever met. But I can remember growing up, he was very, to himself. And I remember thinking, not knowing the extent of, that he had autism, thinking, well, is he just being rude? And as I got to know him more, it wasn't that. It was just, hey, he's just kind of discerning things and, just trying to, I guess, adjust and just do things the best way that he can. And again, like I said, he has grown up to be one of the smartest young men that I've ever met. But again, just want to get you to talk about that because we are talking about communication and understanding.
Well, people with autism, the best way to describe autism is that someone who has autism, their brain is wired differently.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's just wired differently.
It's just wired differently. And so sometimes people with autism have a very difficult time understanding the subtext. They hear what you're saying and they hear the words and they attach a meaning to those particular words, and that is it. They don't get sarcasm. My poor kid.
He just doesn't get it.
He just doesn't get it. He lives with his parents who were, the king and queen of sarcasm. He just doesn't stand a chance there. But, they don't get sarcasm. They don't get the underlying subtleties of things. And so are the hidden social rules. They don't understand that because it's not concrete. It's too intangible for them.
Right.
And so they sometimes have a very difficult time navigating social situations, and they may come off as rude. Reese told we had Halloween. I'm getting ahead of myself. We had Halloween at a friend's house, and somebody touched him on the back, and he turned around and said, "No touching." And this person jumped back, and somebody else had to explain, he just really doesn't like to be touched.
Right.
He was trying to be rude. He was just trying to.
That's just his way to say, look, that's not my thing.
Exactly.
Don't do it.
But they can be very straightforward, and they don't understand idioms. So you have to be it helps to be able to speak very clearly and very
specifically.
And specifically.
Yeah.
So that they understand what you're saying.
And the statement that you said that I think should resonate very much is, if you've met one kid with autism or one person with autism, then you've met one person with autism. Because for some people with autism, they may ask a lot of questions. For some people, they may be more, go internal.
Well, and Asperger's is on the spectrum.
Yes.
Asperger's is part
as
of
we
the
call
spectrum.
Brett, my husband, the Aspie. So yeah, it really is a huge spectrum.
It is.
And they're just wired differently.
They're just wired differently.
Just wired differently. What is the telephone number to find out more information again?
Telephone number for the Autism Society of Acadiana is 235-4425, and you can call for more information on this event, or if you have any questions about autism, please give us a call. Come by our office. We're at 3108 West Pinhook Road. We have a wonderful library and fabulous staff, and we'd be happy to talk with you. I also want to mention that we are working with Families Helping Families of Acadiana to help bring Dennis in as well.
That's excellent. Well, we appreciate the chance to talk with you this morning, and much success for y'all this evening and tomorrow as well.
Thank you.
Going to be very interested in to see how it works out. Maybe we can even get some law enforcement folks that are going to go to that event to give us an idea of what they've learned.
That'd be
That'd
great.
be very interesting.